Did you ever feel like you'd be playing alongside someone like Messi?
I mean, one way I'm definitely going to have to go is being fluent in Spanish. To some people, we are the villains in the league, so you know that everyone wants to beat you.
You've saved 44% of penalties you've faced. So I don't know what you're saying to them, bro.
I made 9 saves. I saved a penalty. Like, I was player of the week for the whole league. So if I can do things so that my brain is training or harder, even faster, then when the game comes easy, I don't feel the stress of it.
Professional athletes in general don't know how much impact they actually have.
10 seconds of my time that I may not fully remember might be the greatest 10 seconds of a kid's life.
Was there any moments where you were like, I don't know if this is working for me?
I think there's no bigger pressure than the pressure I put on myself. And I ended up playing out of my mind, got called into the national team, we qualified for the World Cup from one moment.
What would you say they can expect from Canada this World Cup?
The two things that come to mind that
Dayne, how we doing?
I'm doing great, man.
It's nice to have you here.
Nice to be here. The new studio is lovely.
You officially signed with Inter Miami. You're going to be playing alongside one of the GOATs. You could say the GOAT, arguably the GOAT, right? We can argue that later on, right? Messi. What does that make you feel like, knowing that you're going to be playing on that team with a player like that?
I think the thing that sticks out to me the most is just the opportunity and the ambition and desire to win, the expectation. I think leading up to the World Cup, it was the move that made the most amount of sense for me in terms of every game is going to be pressurized, similar to the World Cup.
Yeah.
Every game there's an expectation to win on home soil or away.
Yeah.
So I think for those reasons, it was like it made the most sense for me at this point in time.
Did you ever feel like you'd be playing alongside someone like that, someone like Messi?
I mean, you always dream of it. I think growing up, when you're playing FIFA or whatever, back in the day, you create your little player and you put yourself on all the best teams in the world. If you would have asked me, is Messi going to play in the MLS, you would have probably said no however many years ago. So I think it's hard to fully picture it, but in the soccer world, you know you're always so close, or you always think and challenge yourself that you think you can make it.
Yeah.
So I never fully probably imagined that however many years ago, but as things started to progress, it started to become a little bit more realistic.
Yeah.
Like, obviously I played against him this past season, so like my best friend played with him. Like, so him being in the league, I think has boosted the league and helped out, and it's going to be an honor to be on the field with him as well.
Well, you don't have to play against him anymore, luckily, right? Do you feel that there's an increased pressure for you, maybe that you felt last year? Maybe it's a higher pressure now going to a team like that with those players that just won?
Yes and no. I think it's a different kind of pressure. Obviously, you know you're going to get everyone's best game, and partly to some people, we are the villains in the league.
Yeah.
So you know that everyone wants to beat you, and the hardest thing to do in the MLS especially is to defend your trophy.
Yeah.
But one of the first things that they said to me when I signed was the Champions Cup is what we're after, and that's one of the trophies that they haven't won yet.
Yeah.
And we're looking forward to that. But they want to go and compete in every tournament, and the expectation is we win everything.
Yeah. What do you think about what they've done in the league the last few years, obviously with Messi being signed, a lot of other players as well, Suarez, Busquets? What do you think that's done for the league as a whole, even worldwide?
I think it's brought in more viewers and more followers to the league, and that maybe didn't know about it before, because I think even before he came, there was a lot of quality, but people just didn't maybe see it, or it had that stigmatism or whatever. So I think now that he's come, it's brought in a lot more attention, and people are like, oh, the level maybe isn't as bad as we thought it was.
Yeah.
So I think that's pulled it. But then at the same time, you're getting linked to these big names and big players that have attachments to them. And if it's a league that arguably what I think is the best player in the world can go to, then someone else is thinking, well, it should be good enough for my league as well to choose. So I think it's kind of had a little bit of a domino and snowball effect, but it's been good to see its growth, and I know that it's only going to continue.
And speaking to like the coaching staff there, and I'm not sure if you spoke to Beckham at all yet, but what are the expectations for you? What have they put on you to kind of bring you in and say, hey, this is what we're expecting from you as our goalkeeper?
I mean, my job's easy. It's keep the ball at the back of the net, right? At the end of the day, that's what you're judged on. Yeah. And of course, you can affect the game in different ways, but the most important thing, if at the end of the day, more times than not, no one's gonna have anything to say if you get a clean sheet and walk off the field. Whether you felt like you played amazing or made 10 mistakes or whatever, my position I think is very judged based on that. And I know obviously playing that position, that's not always the case.
Yeah.
But I think from the outside in, whenever you don't get scored on, you give your team a chance to win.
True.
So I think that's the expectation from me, and to just help us compete and play my role.
Yeah. And in terms of Beckham and what he's done with that team as well, right? We've witnessed it probably the last 10 years or so. What do you think about his impact on the league as a whole? Because he kind of came in as an underdog. I think he's done an amazing job, right? With the players that he's brought in, the position that he puts his team in. You guys got a new stadium coming as well, which is going to be sick. So what would you say about his impact on the league?
Yeah, I think it's very rare people have as big of an impact as a player and then beyond that.
Yeah.
So I think obviously he had a huge impact when he came and played for the LA Galaxy and what that meant for the league and the boost that meant at that time.
Yeah.
And then arguably to make it even bigger with a team in a market as big as Miami to get a team there, to bring the names that he's brought in and to win.
Yeah.
Most important thing, everyone wants a team that's going to win and compete.
Yeah.
And to be able to kind of push the league forward. So I think it's hard to kind of quantify what he's done, but it's definitely pulled the league and pushed the league forward in order to get out.
Yeah. And I'm sure, choosing Inter Miami was a pretty easy choice for you. But many people watching this might say, well, why didn't our guy Dayne go to Europe? So what do you have to say to people that might ask that?
Yeah, I think the opportunity with Miami came and it wasn't an easy decision. I think I thought all things through. I wanted to make sure it wasn't just the first thing I dropped at.
Okay.
Obviously, I've been in Minnesota my whole career, so it was somewhere I felt comfortable with.
Mm-hmm.
But kind of when I started to think about it more, I thought it was ready for me to take a new opportunity and to get more in a global market, especially and to push myself before the World Cup, but to ensure that I'd be in a position where I'd play. And then, yeah, the Europe of course that dream is always there. And I think the MLS has grown so much where it's not a necessity anymore, but it's also a lot harder in my position to go in the middle of the season, which True. I think a lot of people forget.
True.
Because I had to go somewhere 6 months before the World Cup where I'm essentially guaranteed to be a starter.
Yes.
And that was something that was the most important thing to me, was to make sure I continued to be playing, to give myself this best opportunity to represent my country at the World Cup and be the starter on that day. So I think a lot of people talk about, oh, this team is interested FC isn't an actual team.
I love that.
Interested FC isn't a team. These clubs have great scouting networks and there's always interest or there's deep dives, but how many of those teams that are actually interested actually come with a contract offer?
True.
There's not that many, if
True.
any at all. So I think a lot of people always talk about, oh, this team's interested, why don't you go there? Why don't you go there? Or interested for all the players in the world. But just because the team's interested doesn't mean that they actually get to the knowledge or to the point of actually producing a contract. And
Mm-hmm.
I think at the time where I decided to sign with Miami, I think it was the best opportunity and best decision that I've made.
Yeah, and some could argue, I would argue that, Inter Miami has quality like Europe, right? Like the squad itself, right? And the way they play, right? So did you think that at all? Did you feel that?
Yeah, for sure. I thought it was definitely a step that I can continue to grow and learn on not only for the games and the amount of magnitude that our games are, but on a daily basis in training where we're doing the bulk of our work that a lot of people aren't seeing. To be surrounded by the players that are on my team now, I think that's going to push me every day. And of course, you have guys on my team that are looking to go and defend a World Cup within 6 months.
True.
So they're driving the way that they feel towards it. They're not taking these 6 months lightly. They're doing everything that they can. So if I can go in there and learn some of those things from them and build off of them, I think it's somewhere that I can get better as well.
Yeah. And what excites you the most about going to play there?
Opportunity.
How are you looking to grow once you get there, right? Because you're still growing.
Mm-hmm.
You still want to become an even better goalkeeper. So what are some things that you're looking to do once you get there?
I think the biggest thing for me is opportunity.
Yeah.
Obviously, immerse myself into the culture of the team. They've won for a reason.
Yeah.
Seeing the standards that they have and making sure that I'm not only upholding those standards but pushing them as well is something that's going to be important to me. And then, yeah, I know the qualities that I can add to a team and seeing which ways that I can fit into the system to know that I can play my role and understand my role the best to be able to kind of help and support the team.
Yeah. And what do you take from even the longevity of some of the players, right? You look at Messi, you look at Suarez. I mean, Busquets is finished now, but he had such a long and great career as well. Jordi Alba. What do you take from that longevity side of it?
Yeah, you're going to be able to get a up close and personal to see what these guys are doing on a daily basis so that they were able to play at the top level for so long and be at the top of their game.
Yeah.
And to be able to even play to the ages that they've had, but not only play but be successful at those ages. I think that's something that stands out to me because, of course, you can say you're going to play for forever and who knows, maybe you end up playing in the 5th division, you know what I mean? But I think to be able to kind of be on teams where they're still competing and expected to win, I think is something that I'm looking forward to kind of learning from them.
They have a very winning mentality when you combine all those players. If they don't win, it's bad news for them, right? They've been winning their whole life, right? You got MLS Goalkeeper of the Year. Amazing. Congratulations. I think it's very well deserved with the season you had. Getting that award, what did that mean to you?
I think it was a culmination of a lot of the work that this year, especially, that I put on the field and off the field. Okay. And I think going into the year, I knew I was going into a contract year. So it's a year where it's important and it can define what your next year looks like or the next contracts. And at the same time, a World Cup was 18 months away when the season started, and trying to make sure I'm winning that job or giving myself the best opportunity and to be on the pitch for our team. So I think I had a lot of motivators. Okay. But at the same time, I was able to kind of rise to the challenge and put my best foot forward. And I know I'm not there yet, and I think I can continue to grow, and I haven't reached my peak yet. Mm-hmm. So I'm looking forward to continuing to grow. But I think this year was a big step in the right direction.
Does winning something like that, like an award so prestigious like that, does that add pressure to you going into next season?
I think there's no bigger pressure than the pressure I put on myself. And it's a accolade that I'll be able to kind of hang my hat on one day. But I think for me, I want to be I want to be in the conversation of the best goalies in the league. Yeah. I want to be in the part of the team that's competing for championships and for trophies, and the expectation is to win. I'm a competitor, so anything you put in front of me, that's what I'm going to try to achieve. Yeah.
And that hunger that you have, do you feel like that's something that keeps growing in you, or something that you've always had?
I've definitely always had it, but I think kind of once you get one thing, you get hungry for more, you know what I mean? Probably the things that you don't think of. Obviously, when I first came in the league, my first year, I wasn't saying, I'm going to win goalkeeper of the year one. You know what I mean? It's a process and things like that. But I think as you start to make those steps forward, and maybe even sometimes the setbacks of, getting dropped for half a season or things like that, those are things that make you hungrier and continue to grow. But at the same time, the expectation grows around you, and the expectation for myself is now higher because I've set myself a new standard now of what it means. Yep. And now I need to push that standard again. And that's how you get better, is not saying, okay, I can go through these peaks and these troughs. It's being, especially in my position, it's consistency.
I think last season when you were very consistent, what do you think the biggest difference was, let's say, from last season to the 2024 season that made the difference from you?
I mean, I think we got a new coach, obviously, in 2024 that came to the start of the year. Like, we didn't have a preseason with him. There's a lot of changes in the club in terms of the sporting side and a lot of moving pieces, and there was a lot of uncertainty going into the year. And I think once the season got started, we kind of started to understand what we are and who we were. Mm-hmm. And then I think we basically had like a whole year going into now we're going into 2025. We know who we are. We know what the players have. We obviously in that summer, we got a boost of some players that started to help us and contribute. So going into the season, there was a lot of familiarity. And we knew, we did well, but we can do even better because now we did this well so quickly, kind of put together. Everyone's kind of doing their thing, and now we're all together. I know what the expectation is from you. I know your level. You know what my level is. Can we push each other? I think obviously we had a young coach in Minnesota that did really well for what we were given, and I think he understood the league more in terms of, okay, this is what it is to come, because he came from England, so I'm sure he knew a little bit about MLS, but until you actually live it, it's very different. It's a very different league than a lot of people understand it to be. So I think all those things kind of moved in the right pieces, and I think on a personal level, I said I gotta help the team and put it up a notch, and for my own individual self, but also to help the team and to push the community forward.
And you mentioned you wanna keep growing. There's different ways you want to keep growing. What are those ways? What do you think that you can still give? Where do you think you still have a lot of potential in?
I mean, one way I'm definitely gonna have to grow is being fluent in Spanish or very close to it. I can speak a little bit in terms of on the field stuff, just with the players that I've played with in the past. But I think growing more into that culture and languages, I think builds people. I think obviously you can connect without fully speaking sometimes on the field, but that communication, especially in my position, is going to be something that's going to be very important. So obviously taking a lot of Spanish lessons and trying to immerse myself as quickly as possible to be able to help the team is one way. I think obviously I'll be working with a new goalie coach now, so seeing the things that he might see to kind of improve my game. And then the past 18 months I've been doing a lot of like cognitive stuff, and I think that's kind of really helped me and pushed me and kind of working things differently, you know what I mean? I think training my brain, especially in my position, my eyes, the amount of as quickly as I can react to things as quickly as I can see them. So if I can do things that my brain is training or harder, even faster, then when the game comes easy, I don't feel the stress of it.
That's interesting.
So yeah, that's been, I think, the last 18 months, which has really, I think, been a key indicator of the biggest thing that I changed in my life to help me, and I've seen the success with it on the field.
So more like working on your brain than in the gym and lifting weights. What have you been doing? Like, what are some things that you do without giving away the sauce to other goalies, you know?
I started working with a performance coach, and she's been great because her mind she comes up with all the things, and she's like, I've been able to trust her, and she says, okay, this is a pattern that I've noticed in terms of when you're playing, or you conceded this amount of goals on this side or whatever. So like, these are the things that we're going to address of the ball coming from this area or things like that. And just has opened my eyes to a different lens or a different thinking of someone that wasn't really a soccer person. And can kind of saw it from a different aspect in terms of the athlete or the mind and things like that. And I think all the things that we've done, I mean, some of the games are kind of stupid memory games, you know what I mean? Or some of the videos that are going viral right now of like, and I'm like, yeah, I've done stuff like this. And like to someone younger, it might look like a little game or whatever, but like sometimes it is a game, but it's also like, I've seen what those things have done for me.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, like, you think that's really helping you too, eh?
Oh, without a doubt in my mind.
Really?
Without a doubt in my mind. And I think I've seen such a accelerated growth, and because not a lot of people are doing it or know about it.
True. Well, you shocked me when you said it pretty much. But once you break it down, it makes complete sense that you would focus on that too, because your eye movement, your memory, this player would do that, this player would do that. We'll get into the penalty kicks as well, which I'm sure that comes handy as well, right? That's awesome. But, you know, Minnesota was great for you, right? I'm sure you loved the fan base, the team, everything. What do you want to say to the Minnesota fans now that that chapter is closed?
Yeah, I want to say thank you. I think that community is amazing, and they really took me in, and I had some great moments there, and I had some not so great moments there, but the fans there always stick by you, and it's a place I called home for a long time. Yeah. Obviously being there for 7 years. I mean, obviously I had a couple of loan spells kind of mixed in there, but 7 years, and yeah, I think I said a lot in my message when I released it, and I think I wanted to be the first one that to release it and to say thank you before it got to everyone else, because obviously we know in today's world there's always a reporter somewhere around that hears something. So I think it was really important to me when I was making my decision for people to hear from me of this is the news first. And I think that's why I kind of put out the thank you message without even announcing where I was going, because for me it wasn't about where I was going or who I was. It was about giving a thank you to the people that had supported me for such a long time.
And what do you want the Minnesota fans to remember you for?
I mean, they'll probably remember me for a lot of things. Probably the penalties are probably one, but I think the person I am, and I tried to immerse myself in the community and to give back to help. And I think that's why, of course, I was always a competitor and the stuff on the field, but I think the stuff off the field, I think, is more memorable or more, especially not only for the fans, because it's their community, and they're welcoming us into it as athletes, and you never know how long you're going to be in there. Sometimes it might be half a season you see guys there, or sometimes in my situation you see guys there for a long time. So I think for me it's the stuff I did off the field and my willingness to immerse myself into the community and to try to give back.
Is that something you plan to keep doing in Miami as well?
Without a doubt, I think
it's a big part of what you do.
Community is something that's big. I mean, I grew up in community. It's obviously in Toronto. It's you know how it is. You grew up here, but my mom works in community centers, so it was always something that I did. My dad came and migrated from a small Caribbean country in Trinidad where community is huge. So I think community is something that's been ingrained in me. Yeah. And obviously, I'm so blessed to be in the position where I am. So I try to give back in whatever ways that I can.
Do you think it creates a better relationship with the fan base and the team culture, everything? Do you think that that's helped you a lot as well?
Yeah, I think for sure that is a help. I think that's not the reason why I do it. Yeah. I do it because I know whatever 10 seconds of my time that I may not fully remember might be the greatest 10 seconds of a kid's life, or might inspire that kid to go and be something great. So I think sometimes when you can see things physically, or you believe you can achieve them, they become more real, you know what I mean? Versus the guy you watch on TV versus now he's sitting across from you asking you how your day is, or signing an autograph, or taking a split second out of my time that isn't that much for me can mean the most to them. And sometimes I've gotten back the most from me. I think I look at the team did it. We did a Make-A-Wish this year. And me and Tanny went to the kid's house to let him know that he was going to be a part of the team. Wow. And to have that moment when he scored the goal, like, it filled my heart and it filled Tanny's heart, and something that whenever we talk about Minnesota United, I know that moment will live with us forever.
I think professional athletes in general don't know how much impact they actually have. You know, is that a moment where you realize, like, wow, I can actually impact someone's life, not just like my teammates on the field or anything like that, but I can actually change someone's whole day or week or life, honestly.
Yeah, and I think there's been times where obviously I've been in Minnesota for a long time, so they would be like, yeah, I remember I came in year one and I saw you and you said whatever, and like, look where I am now. Or you see these like updates of 5 years later, 4 years later, some of the messages that I received of favorite moments and things like that. It was like, oh wow, I do remember that, or that's not something I thought about was on the front of my brain, obviously, in that moment. But you realize, oh yeah, I do actually remember that part too, and I remember that moment. And unfortunately, it was a moment for me. But when you look back at it, it's like, whoa, that ended up being way bigger. This transpired because of it after. Yeah. The impact that you have it's almost like you're planting a seed. Yeah. Sometimes you're going to be able to water it, but that seed is going to grow, and you don't know necessarily what it's going to grow to because you might go away. But that doesn't mean that seed stops growing.
It's very humbling as a player, right? Because sometimes, obviously, you know, you get out there on pitch, 30,000 people watching you, screaming your name. Your head can get big sometimes. You need some humbling, right? But speaking of being humble, you know, when I first met you, you were playing goalkeeper. I think you were at Vaughan. Mm-hmm. And then I found out you played center back before. I didn't even know that. That's insane. I think your journey has been pretty humble as well, very non-traditional, I would say, because you there was a lot of steps to it, right? So you went from the NCAA to PDL, correct?
In the summers, I'd play in PDL.
PDL, and then after that, you went to USL too.
So I went to MLS.
You got drafted.
Then they loaned me out
Yeah.
that year to USL League One.
Okay.
But it was like a partnership where I'd go kind of back and forth.
Okay.
So then I was like, it was like a 4-hour drive from Minnesota.
Okay.
So I'd go like back and forth, maybe for like I'd go for like 2 weeks, come back to Minnesota, train, whatever, go back.
And that was right when you got drafted.
That was right when I got drafted my rookie year.
And did you know that you were gonna go to the USL?
So
when you got drafted,
when I was having the meetings in the combine and stuff like that, obviously in my position, it's not realistic to go and start right away. So they were like, yeah, part of your development is gonna be this. So like I'd kind of known, and it was the first year of that league, and I played. It's crazy. I played in the club's first ever game, Forward Madison's first ever game I played in, which is obviously a cool thing to look back at, of like a game for a club. I was there for like I played in the first ever game for it. And
did that get to you at all? Having to play USL?
For me, no, because I know like in my position, like we had just signed Veto.
Yeah.
Like obviously, like I was an Arsenal fan growing up.
Mm-hmm.
I knew who he was, you know what I mean? And so like it wasn't realistic. I know getting drafted, like it wasn't realistic for me to play in year one. I was like, okay, this can be my part. Year two, what can I do? Or can I play a couple games or get the cup games or whatever, you know what I mean? And then year three, can I be whatever the situation is? Like I almost kind of planned it like thought of it like that in my head of like, no, it's not like because I'm bad. Like they're actually trusting in me and they're continuing to see my development, because sometimes it's easier to go in the USL than sit in the stands every single game and knowing you're not getting picked.
True.
So at least there was a part of my development, and they had a plan for me. And I think in my position, only one guy plays. So it's not like, well, if I sit on the bench, like I can get 5 minutes or like I can go and prove myself. It's like, unless someone gets injured, you're not going in.
Yeah.
So it was like, I think for me and my position, it was a lot easier for me to understand the way versus, if you're a striker, you're saying, I want to be on the bench because I know if we're down 1-0 or 2-0, last 15 minutes, I might get something. I score a goal, all of a sudden I start the next week.
Yeah.
Versus in my position, it's very different in terms of you need that body of work and you need that consistency. And a lot of teams trust in the veteran guy or the experienced guy there in that moment. So I thought from my development, like I was happy that they had a plan for me, because you see guys get drafted and they don't play for 2 years, or they play limited minutes and then they're out the league.
Yeah.
So it was like, all right, this is a team that trusted me. They have a plan for me, even though it's not necessarily playing week in and week out, but they have a plan for me to be a part of this and see a future with me, not just the now.
Yeah. And you mentioned you were like driving back and forth?
Yeah, sometimes,
4 hours?
Yeah.
So you would train with Minnesota?
So like I would train, let's say I would train for the week in Minnesota.
Okay.
Then they'd be like, okay, you're going to play the next 2 games in Madison.
Okay.
So it'd be like Saturday, let's say. So like I would then go on like the Tuesday or whatever, drive to Madison, stay there for like 10 days for the 2 games, and then I'd go back to Minnesota for like, let's say another month or whatever, however long it would be.
Yeah.
Or sometimes I'd go for one game, like I'd go for the one game for like just the week, and then I'd come back. And then we only had 3 goalies that year. So one of our goalies actually ended up getting injured.
Okay.
So then I couldn't go to play the games because I had to be on they're like, well, we need you on the bench because we don't have anyone. So then I ended up, but I think having those experiences and being on the bench for those games or being around Veto, I think helped me a lot and showed me a level of this is what it's going to take on a daily basis. Not only performance in the games, like he won goalkeeper of the year that year. Yeah. So being with somebody that was showing what it was day in, day out. And of course he played at the highest level. So all the things that he could take. And I was just trying to be a sponge and not necessarily change my game, but like, what are the things that I can learn from him that I can apply to my game? And in training, you have that trial and error of what works for you and what doesn't. Yeah. So I was grateful that was the case.
It seems like you have a lot of patience. You have a positive mindset too. But was there any, because like you're telling me about the grind, you're driving here, you're doing that, you're sitting on the bench, not sitting on the bench. Like what was really keeping you motivated at that point? Right? Because I think motivation is huge. Discipline's huge too. But was there any moments where you were like, I don't know if this is working for me? Because I feel for goalies, like it's a patience game too. Like you said, like you could be the best too at that position, but maybe there's a guy that's a senior ahead of you, and you just got to wait it out. That could be like demoralizing, So was there any moments where you were down?
I think in that moment comes in year 3 for me. And that's when, so in year 2, we got a new goalie because Veto was only there on loan.
Okay.
That was a COVID year, obviously, so no one knew what was happening with our seasons. We had the little bubble tournament.
Yep.
And then our goalie decided to get hip surgery because it was something that he needed. No one knew what was going to happen the rest of the season.
True.
So then, I was in San Antonio at that time in the USL Championship because they were like, we want you to get a full season. Like, you did well last year with Madison. We want you to get a full season this year, and then we'll see what happens kind of thing. So I was like, all right, I know I'm going to San Antonio to play. Then COVID happens. Obviously, there's no season all of a sudden. You know what I mean? Like the day I got to San Antonio, like I think like a week later, COVID hit.
Wow.
So it was obviously crazy. Like I didn't know anyone in the city. Like whatever, trying to figure it out. Obviously, there was so much uncertainty at that time in the world. And then we started playing in the bubble. They're like, okay, you're gonna come back. Mm-hmm. We have this next portion of the season. So I ended up playing that portion of the season. We make it to the Western Conference Final. I'm doing super well. Okay, this was the breakthrough. Good. Next season starts. The previous starter is coming back from surgery.
From the hip surgery, yep.
I'm saying I just made it to the Western Conference Final. Like, I'm the starter.
Yeah.
So obviously we're battling it out in preseason, and they're like, it's kind of an open competition.
Okay.
Coach goes, you did well last year. We're going to stick with you to start the season. We lose our first 4 games.
Damn.
I probably had a couple errors, but like a lot of defensive mistakes. Like one of my best friends actually on the team, like try to pass me the ball. It doesn't reach me. One of those, like, you know what I mean?
The striker.
One of those once a season moments. And then.
But they all happened at the beginning of the
exactly,
season.
You know what I mean? So then coach decides, okay, we need to switch something.
Okay.
Switches me. I don't play for the rest of the season. So I think in that moment was tough in terms of like, yeah, I had my chance. Mm-hmm. I don't feel like I played one bad game or had a couple mistakes.
Yeah.
But I didn't think I warranted enough to like I was the only person in the whole starting 11 that got switched.
Wow.
So like I took that like very hard in terms of like, so you're telling me I'm the reason, like I took it as you're telling me I'm the reason we've lost these games when you're telling me you're not the reason, but we need to switch something. Like if there would have been like 5 guys switched out the lineup, I would have said, okay.
Even
you know
just
what I mean?
one
like,
other one too.
Exactly.
Like
you know what I mean? Like, all right, cool.
Yeah.
But I was the one guy that got switched out. So like, and obviously when you lose your spot in my position, it's hard to go and get it back. So I was definitely frustrated throughout the year.
Yeah. And
I remember having a lot of conversation with the goalie coach that year, and he's like, be patient. We still believe in you. Like, don't worry, your time's going to come again. Like, this isn't forever. Because, like, yeah, you've seen goalies play one season, then they're a backup for their whole career. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. And I didn't think, like, I knew my potential and what I can contribute was greater than that. Mm-hmm. So I think, but in that moment when, you're going in, you're not, like, they're like, you did too well now at this level, so we can't loan you out because that's going to be too eoo for you. Mm-hmm. So you're kind of, like, stuck. I was, like, kind of, like, stuck in the rock in terms of, like, well, I don't play, but you're telling me this level's too easy for me, but then I can't, like, you're not giving me opportunities to play at this moment. So it was like, it was very difficult for me. Yeah. And then that kind of boiled over the top into the next year when we had, like, I'd stopped getting called into World Cup, World Cup qualifiers in that year. Yeah. Because you weren't playing. Because I wasn't playing. So they were like, you're not playing for your, like, you're not playing for your club. We can't really call you in. So obviously that was a difficult pill to swallow too. And then going into the 2022 season, I was like, I'm 12 months out from the World Cup. Like, if you guys aren't going to play me, like, we need to find, like, an option or whatever for me. Mm-hmm. They're like, okay, just, you guys it's going to be an open battle for preseason again. Okay. You guys will see where it goes. Because he got COVID, I want to say, in the last game of the season. So I played the playoff game. So I played the first 4 games and the playoff game. So it was just, like, the weirdest season ever. Yeah. So I was like, all right, I kind of have no choice. I was telling my agent, like, try to line something up or see what we can do to, like, if other teams are interested. Obviously, preseason was going on. So then I was like, they decided to pick him for the first couple of games of the season. I was like, all right, well, here we go again. Here we go. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm telling my agent, like, what are you finding? Like, trade window's still open. Like, let's try to get something moving. Yeah. And then he got food poisoning before, I want to say our 3rd game or 4th game or something like that. Wow, fast, pretty quick in the season. And it was just like, it was early on, so it was like, they're like, and I found out like day of the game I'm playing. Wow. Because he got it was an illness, you know what I mean? So we were playing away to New York Red Bull, and And at that point in time, I played the best game of my life.
And since then?
I would say I had one other game that I played better.
Yeah.
But in that moment, like, I made 9 saves. I saved a penalty. Like, I was player of the week for the whole league.
Yeah.
And, like, I remember going into that game because the national team was, like, was getting – that was the March window right before we played Jamaica and qualified for the World Cup.
Okay.
So, in my head, I was like – I played a role in this qualification. Like, I was so motivated to, like, I was like, I want to be there. Like, you know what I mean? I was like, okay, this is my one foot in the door. Like, I got to take it.
Yep.
And, of course, you never know in my position. I could have not touched the ball the whole game.
True.
And I ended up playing out of my mind.
Mm-hmm.
Got called into the national team. We qualified for the World Cup. I ended up playing the rest of the season and went to the World Cup. And, like, but from one moment, like, it was, 12 months of fighting my way in some tougher days in terms of, I feel like I deserve to play, but I'm not getting the opportunity, and to kind of stay in the grind in terms of, when training comes, it's got to be my game day, and I got to make sure I'm still pushing myself because I had that. And I think playing for the national team has always helped me because it broadens your mind in terms of you have another goal on top of what everyone else has. You know what I mean? Like, hey, I want to go to the World Cup, or I want to play, or I want to be a part of this team, or I want to get called into that camp.
Yeah.
So it was like a bigger goal for me and a bigger push. And I'm always happy that with all the adversity I've always had, I've always found a way to rise through it.
It's crazy. You have to, like, you're training 12 months for that one moment. It's a do or die game.
Yeah.
And in the low points, like, what were you telling yourself mentally? Because that's tough. Mm-hmm. Like you said, a couple tough pills to swallow all in 1 or 2 years. What are the conversations you're having with yourself? And was there anyone around you, family or friends or anything like that was helping you get through this? Obviously the coaching staff, goalkeeper coach. Mm-hmm. But how were you bouncing back? And what were you telling yourself?
I think you kind of go through all the emotions. I think at the beginning you feel sorry for yourself.
Yeah.
Then you start to play the blame game.
It's tough, yeah.
And then... But as soon as I started to kind of take accountability and start to realize, okay, this is the situation, like, however I feel, I can't change it.
Yeah.
But what I can change is, if I do get an opportunity, I need to be ready for it. Because if I go and lounge around and then in game 4, they go and put me in, and then I don't play well.
That is bad.
Then
news.
what?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, you would train really well. Team's not doing well, you're like, okay, maybe this is the game that I get to play. The lineup comes out, boom, if you're back. But I was like, I've always said, like, in my position especially, you can never get too high or too low.
Yeah.
Because you can be playing 89 minutes and be playing the best game of your life, and if the ball goes through your hands in the 90th minute,
it's true.
That's what everyone's talking about, is not the 89 great minutes that you played. All the highlights and everything like that is going to be the ball going in the back of the net.
Yeah.
So I think it was something that I had to learn at a young age in terms of being steady. And I've had games where, okay, I should have made a save, or I wanted that one back, mm-hmm. and we go down 1-0 or whatever. But then I make a save later on in the game that allows us to win the game 2-1. Mm-hmm. So, of course, you want to have that clean sheet, or you don't want to be in that situation. But, like, as low as you get or as high as you get, you have to try to bring yourself and stay level.
Yeah.
In my position, especially because it's so amplified in terms of the mistakes. But I think I kind of went away from your question there a little bit. But I think obviously the goalie coach was the biggest one. He was always someone that supported me and pushed me, and he was the one there on the day-to-day and could see, okay, like, no, you need to, this isn't who you, like, you need to push it today. You know what I mean? Like, he talked to me after, like, all right, take your day, but, like, tomorrow, this isn't the standard. And you are better than this, so you have to hold yourself to a higher standard, because, it's easy and to just drop off once things don't go your way. Yeah. But when I'm telling you, you're going to get an opportunity, so you need to be ready for when your opportunity comes. And, of course, obviously Patrice Geyser, that a lot of us know through Vaughn, like, I'd call him some days and be like, what am I doing, or what's going on, or my agent, like, we need to get out of here. It's easy. Like, I think that's the problem now, especially a lot of guys these days, is everyone runs away and tries to, what's the next club, or who's going to play me, or who's going to do whatever. And it's like, sometimes you got to stay in the grind and grind it out, and that's what ends up making you a better player, not going to a different team, or not going to the people that are going to play you every single minute and they're going to call you a superstar and not push you. It's sometimes, you got to be, eat the humble pie sometimes, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? And realize, okay, no, I'm not where I thought I was, or how can I react to those moments? And I think all those situations have made me a better person, a better player, and realize, yeah, okay, of course, sometimes you still want to run away.
Yeah.
In any situation, like, it's natural. Our body has that fight or flight.
Yeah.
But can you start to understand situations and realize and pull yourself out from the situation and see different perspectives?
Yeah. I really think it is a mentality thing, like, and if you run away from, it's like a life thing, right? Like, if you run away from your problems, like, you're not becoming stronger. You will come across those problems again. And changing teams and stuff, it might help you for that one season where you play and feeds your ego a bit and you're like, yeah, okay, I'm back. But if you're not mentally strong, like you clearly are, I think you run across those problems no matter what, right? So I think you brought up a great point with players wanting to run away. I really see it similar to just people running away from their problems, where I look at you and you're like, okay, I'm going to face my problem head on. Again, you could have went somewhere else, maybe started for 6 months, had a bad game, and then you're back to square one, which I'm sure a lot of players that happens to, right? But you mentioned Patrice, obviously. I want to talk about the Canadian system. You've come from it, right? Technically. What do you think about the way that we're bringing up players here in Canada? Do you think that it's getting better? Do you think that we miss out on a lot of talent? I mean, I was talking to Jay off cam, and I'm like, he's asking me, he's like, yo, like, who are some players like you thought should have been pro from your age, right? 93. And I'm like, I'm thinking back, all these guys, right? Do you think we're doing a good job in Canada with building up talent, but also making sure they get the right opportunities?
I think that's the biggest thing, is now that there's opportunity.
Yeah.
Whether it's the CPL, NCAA, obviously, so their MLS is growing. We're doing well as a national team, so more teams are looking at Canadians. I remember when I first joined the national team, it was always, we want our passport to mean something.
Yeah.
We don't want to have where we're going to take this guy just because he has a Brazilian passport, an Argentine passport, and he's Canadian, so we can't take him. You know what I mean? We want to make our passport mean something, and I think the guys that have gone to Europe and how we've done as a national team has helped to build that. But obviously there is that stigma of Canadians play hockey. You know what I mean?
Always.
Which is always going to be there to some extent, but how can we create a pathway and make it better for players? And I think, yeah, when I was coming through the system, it was TFC, Montreal, and Vancouver.
Yeah.
And they were still pretty new. Like, when I first started, they didn't even have them, you know what I mean? So now, of course, you have the CPL, where there's another place for players to go to, because teams can only have so many players.
Yeah.
So even if there's 10 good players in your age group,
Yeah.
a team might say, we got room for 3.
Yeah.
And they got to try to pick of those 3 that they think are the best. And it's not to say that the other 7 aren't good, but they don't have room for 10 guys in one age group.
True.
So now that I think that there's more opportunity, where, yeah, there's different development stages. Like, I had to go to college in my position to get my foot in the door into terms of the MLS.
Yeah.
Like, I could have gone to the MLS academies, but I chose that at that time it wasn't what was right for me.
Okay. So you chose that. You had the opportunity to do that?
So they wanted, TFC wanted me to join their academy and push for me to join their academy, but, like, also I grew up in Durham. Like,
Yeah.
it wasn't the easiest to be able to get. You talk about parents' sacrifice and things like that, and getting to training, or how, like, luckily at Vaughan, I mean, we trained at 9 p.m.
Yeah.
So my parents were done working, so they could bring me at that time.
Yeah.
But then, yeah, the mornings the next day were tough for them. So, like, talk about sacrifice, or we obviously, I don't know how Toronto traffic is. So, like, sitting in traffic some of those days, you know what I mean? Going to Vaughan 5, 6, 7 times a week sometimes.
Yeah.
Was not easy in terms of the gas bill and things like that.
Yeah.
So I'm definitely grateful for that. But I think now there's opportunity. But I also think it's like, every time I see it, there's a new club here, there's a new club there. Like, before, when I was playing, it was like all the cities, and then that was it. You know what I mean? Like, you had Sigma, of course. Like, Sigma Vana, of course, was a huge rivalry. But, like, Sigma was one of very, like, few academies at the time, where now it's like, it seems, yeah, there's academy here, and I think it's good that there's more people training, or individual sessions and things like that. But, like, you also want the quality, because quantity doesn't mean more. You know what I mean? Because, like, I looked at my Vaughan team. We had Kamal Miller. We had Alistair Johnston. 3 of us made it to the national team. but we also push each other on ourselves. So it wasn't just like I'm the only guy and I'm the best guy on the team. It was like we had different moments in terms of, okay, this guy's doing well. I got to get to that standard today. Or, you know what I mean? We could build off each other versus like everyone praising this one guy. We had 5, 6 guys, 7 guys that are all pushing together and making the day-to-day better and the training sessions better because you're surrounded by quality.
Yeah.
Versus I'm up here and everyone else is down here. So everyone's giving me the praise, but like, am I getting better? Am I pushing these guys? These guys are probably getting better because they're seeing your standard, but like, are you dropping some days to get there versus like, can we all push each other up on a daily basis? So I think for me, I think I've noticed is the biggest difference in terms of there's just so much. And obviously you can talk about money and affordability and it's tough. Yeah, I know
For sure.
a lot of players that wouldn't have made it if they had to pay some of the fees that are there now. And I wouldn't say I know the actual fees that things are at right now, but how many guys do you know that couldn't make it to training because
so many.
They couldn't drive? You know what I mean? Like I used to pick up Kamal from his house and we would drive to Vaughan together because that was the way for us to make it. Like I remember picking him up from the bus station sometimes or other guys in our team so that they could, and I was in a fortunate position where I could do that. Yeah. But like, how would he have gotten to training some days if it wasn't for me? Like, I remember that's my best friend. Like, I'm so grateful that we've both been able to share the journey. But I remember when he was on the national team before me, like I felt the pride in that because I played a small role in it. You know what I mean? That's how I felt. It was and it pushed me of like, okay, you got there. Like, I got to come, I got to catch up. I got to be there right there with you. Yeah. So I think it's good that there's opportunity, but I think at the same time, there's still a lot to address in our country. And it's a systematic thing. I mean, obviously I look at the national team and what we're doing. There's a lot more youth camps. So I remember we'd go to one camp and you wouldn't know when the next camp would be. Like it might be 8 months from now, it might be 6 months from now. You don't even know if you're getting called in. But the biggest thing I think for us at the time was like a big thing that they used to say, you're not in a professional environment because I played for Vaughan. And I would say, all right, well, come watch us. Yeah. Come see how we operate. Come see when I'm 16 years old playing in League One or playing in men's league. We used to play in the men's league sometimes. Like OSL, we used to play men's league. Yeah. So it was different, but I think that was my biggest thing was just because you're in a professional environment or whatever, we treated our environment like it was a professional environment. Yeah. We trained, obviously there's some teams that train once or twice a week. We weren't one of those clubs. And you're seeing the amount of players now that have come out from under Carmen, under Patrice, and under Vaughan or whatever club they were at that time. There's a reason why there's been that success from them.
Yeah. And what would you say, obviously the resources and pay to play and all that, obviously it's hard to fix that because then you need the clubs to have more money, need more investors to come and give them the money. What are some things that, after you've been through your journey, what are some things that you think Canada can do better when it comes to youth, you know?
I mean, I think they are doing some of the things better. I think,
for sure.
Obviously, there's, I played in League One's first every year. Yeah. Where it was only, you know what I mean? Yeah. Now you're seeing, they have the Premiership division or the lower divisions where there's more opportunity for guys to still play. You might not be at the top right now when you're 16. Yeah. But can you play in this level a little bit lower where you can still grow and compete? And so I think the opportunity in terms of that, and there's League One in different provinces now, you know what I mean? So I think one of the biggest things, though, is our country is so big. Yeah. Whenever I talk about Canada, I find myself I talk about Toronto a lot, but I don't really know what's going on in Vancouver or Calgary or. True. So I talk about the issues that we have in Ontario. Yeah. And I've had to remind myself we're one place of a lot of players come from this area, so it is, and there's the density in terms of our population is high, but we're not the whole country. Yeah. So it's what's right for us might not be right for the people in Vancouver or Montreal. And I think that's the hardest issue is it's not this is going to fix all of Canada.
It's not a one fix.
Where it's you kind of have to look at KK. What can we do in Ontario? What can we do in the GTA? Yeah. What can we do up in Windsor? You know what I mean? Even Ontario is so big. It's true. Where it's just it's hard to put the one size fits all. So I don't know if I have a direct answer, but I think the fact that we're having more youth camps, there's more investment into coaches. I remember like when I first started, it was like whose dad's coaching, you know what I mean? Versus now, like
Yeah.
you're getting qualified coaches to coach kids at 8 to 10 or 12, you know what I mean? Versus like people that are hired and are getting paid to do it by the club, not to just volunteer coaches. So like those kids are getting better and have better training. Like obviously the internet's a great resource now where you can say, okay, I'm gonna go and I'm gonna do these drills that I saw on YouTube or whatever, and like take the ball on myself. But I also think that it's like the days are gone where kids go to the field and try something or do something. Like it's always like very like you have to do this or you have to train with this trainer or you have to do that. Like what happened to just taking the ball by yourself and going kick it against the wall 100 times? Where your ball on the concrete is all messed up. You know what I mean?
Old
Like
school way, bro.
You know, like But how can you get that amount of hours in?
Yeah.
And it's different. And of course, I think having these qualified coaches is good. But like, can you still get the same amount of hours? And it goes back to the 1,000 hours to master things or all that whole debate.
Yeah.
So I think there's so many layers to it, and there's not going to be one person that can fix it all. But like, can we all do a little bit to move things forward? As investors, can we invest in something so that there's more money into it, or the kids can make it? Can we make it more affordable or more available? Can we have better fields? Can we put more domes up? Can we make more indoor places where we can train all year round? Like there's so many different ways, and I think that's almost the overwhelming because there's so much that we can do or that we should do. But at the same time, it's like, how do we build the passion? Because the passion is what's going to want to make people play. The love for the game is what's going to want to, when it's freezing outside, you know what, I'm still going to go. Like, I remember we used to shovel the field to go and play. No one wants to do that, but I loved playing the game, so I wanted to do that because I know on the other side of shoveling, I got to play. Yeah. So it's like building that love and not being too robotic and teaching these kids of like, let them fall in love with the game sometimes in their own different ways. And whether it's watching it or playing it, like there's just so many. I mean, that's probably doesn't give you a direct answer. But
no, but I know, and I think it has gotten way better for sure the last 10, 15 years. I think a lot has to do with the national team, of course, and what you guys have been able to accomplish. So let's talk about the national team. Let's talk about Team Canada World Cup 2022. So walk me through that. Walk me through qualifiers. Walk me through what's going on in your mind. You were third string, correct? And did they let you know that was going to be the case, or was it more of a conversation like, hey, this is an open battle as well?
No, I knew kind of coming in. Obviously, Max was with the team so long. Milan was the clear starter, but like in my head, like they were saying you're number 3, and I'd be like, every camp I'd be like, okay, I'm number 3, but what do you guys need to see for me to push up to the number 2, or what can I do so like I can continue to push myself? And I was of course happy to be part of it because I was in a battle for the number 3 at some points in time too, where that guy that was probably 4th or 5th is trying to do the same thing. Everyone's always trying to push their way up. So I think for me, I was trying to push, but like, it was clear. I think our roles in that team were very clear. Of course, I just got called in. Like my first camp was the first camp after COVID in 2021, where it was like mostly domestic guys. We couldn't even come to Canada, so we were doing a lot of camps in Florida and playing away games. Like I heard today, like our game when we played in Haiti, that's been the last game there since, which is crazy to think about. Like that was so long ago, but like these qualifier games, like CONCACAF is a different region, and it's not necessarily that the quality is there, but the away games are so difficult. And I wasn't there for the whole when we made it to the octagon because that was kind of some of the time that I wasn't getting called in, but like the fact that we did so well was a big achievement. And I think kind of gets blanketed over the fact that obviously there was just so many other different things, but like we made it to our first World Cup in a long, long time. And we had to we were not in where we are ranked, where we get some of the buys in the first round. Like we were going to some places where like playing some small countries, you know what I mean? In terms of the grand scheme of things at the time. But of like, you couldn't like mess up in those games, because if you didn't mess up in those games, you weren't going to be able to go to the next round to make it even to the octagon. Like we started, like I think I would be interested to see how many actual qualifiers we played if you put all the games together. So it was difficult not being able to play at home, obviously, and not being able to play in front of fans where you know they give you that boost. Like so I think it was a difficult moment, but we were able to come out. And like I think about like my journey, like being on the field at BMO when we officially qualified. Like, obviously, we knew going into that game, like, there's a large chance that we're going to do it. But, like, that moment is when, like, everything became real.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, obviously, I was going through my own little, like, journey at that time of finally got called back in. But it was just, like, we did it. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
the thing that we talked about, or, like, at the time, 2026 was announced. So, like, on the outside, everyone was talking about Canada and the 2026 World Cup. But internally, it was all for us. It was always 2022.
Yeah.
And that was going to be our first one to give us the experience in order to now do well at this World Cup. And I think we obviously didn't do as well as we would have liked in terms of results. I think we had some good performances at the World Cup in 2022.
Yeah.
And inspired things. But, you know, the results is what matters. And it's what's going to get the real attention to the broader viewership, because the people that didn't watch that game or don't understand it are going to be like, well, they just lost.
They look at the score.
You know what I mean?
Of course.
Versus, yeah, we played very good against Belgium.
Yep.
And that ignited a lot of the fan base that we already have of, like, they can do it. But if we would have won that game, what does that do for the outside of people? And then they had the people on the inside saying, yeah, look how well they played. They did it. And then that's how things snowball.
Yeah. That game against Belgium where you guys did play very well. What was the energy like between the guys after? Was it like, holy, like, or was that the expectation to play that well against a team like that?
I think it was the sense and feeling of we belong and we can do this. Of course, when you lose your first game in a tournament, it's always very difficult. Yeah. And we ended up being in the hardest group ever. You know what I mean?
It's
like,
true. It's true.
But going into it, we're like, okay, like, we know our next game against Croatia is going to be hard, but, like, Belgium was ranked as one of the top 5 teams in the world at the time. We're like, if we just played that well against Belgium and, like, of course we didn't win, but we had opportunities or it could have went our way, like, okay, we can do this against Croatia.
Yeah.
And I think obviously whenever you don't win, like, you're going to be disappointed, because in tournament football, you'd rather play terrible and win and get on and move on, because sometimes it's about just getting on to the next round. Then you play amazing and you lose. Yeah. Especially in the first game of a tournament to kind of set the tone. But I think for us, it showed us, like, it was our first World Cup. It showed us, no, we can be here. And, like, because our qualifiers were so big, like, we didn't really have that many, like, friendlies against those teams to kind of test us, because qualifiers took us up so much. So we didn't have the friendlies that we're playing now where you're getting to test yourself against some of these teams. It was like well, how is it going to be? You know what I mean? And I think that kind of gave us confidence in order to move on into the next games. And, of course, they didn't necessarily go our way. But I think after that game, everyone was like, all right, we belong here. You know what I mean? We can do this.
I think even the fan base was saying that too. What do you think that you personally learned from that experience being in that World Cup? And how was it now going back to club football after your first World Cup?
Well, that World Cup changed a lot, even because I was going in as the third. Yeah. And as we were on the plane to go to Bahrain for, like, our pre-camp with, like, some of the MLS guys, that's when Max broke his leg in the final. So he was supposed to get on, like, the next day to come. And I knew, okay, I'm going to be a third. And, like, the Wi-Fi wasn't great on the plane. So, like, I remember, like, they were texting, what happened to Max? What happened to Max? And everyone's like, we're on the plane. We don't know. Like, we knew that they were playing. Yeah. And people started, like, all of our phones started blowing up. And, like, somebody finally got the thing of, like, he broke his leg. Or, like, something like he got kicked, like, carted off. And then, obviously, we saw the gruesome video. And in that moment, my heart sank for him, because it was, like, he was that close. Similar to Neil. We played against Bahrain. In the warm-up, he pulls his calf. World Cup gone in a split second. And, of course, he was there, but in a different capacity. Yeah. And, like, your dream to be there as a player for both those guys, like, was gone. And for me, it meant in my role now I'm the number 2. Mm-hmm. I know I'm stepping up, and if anything happens to Milan, red card, injury, whatever, I need to prepare. So, like, my role automatically changes from being the third in terms of, okay, we got to support the guys, take all the extra reps, like, do all the things to support the team, support Milan, support Max. And then in terms of, like, I'm the next guy up now if Milan goes down. So I think that brought a level of maturity into to kind of taste the World Cup, and this is where the world stage is, and this is where the best players play. And when I went back to my club, I was hungrier, and I think it was weird, obviously, because that World Cup was in December, so like that was the MLS offseason. So my offseason was really short that year.
Yeah.
And I missed part of the preseason, so I don't think I started the year as good as I had in the past because of that World Cup, call it hangover or whatever you want. But, like, I didn't get the full preseason as to where I wanted to be. And then I looked at, like, I played okay in that 23 season, but I didn't play great. And I started to look at myself, okay, this is the off season now where I need to start to push myself, obviously Milan was no longer part of the national team. Like, this is now a battle between me and Max for 2026.
Yeah.
And I started to look internally and see the things that I can adjust and start to go from there. But I think anytime you get a taste of the top, you want to be able to get there and be a part of it.
Yeah. So in the 2022 World Cup, were you already thinking about 2026 at all? Were you already thinking like, I got to be starting when it's 2026?
I think for me in that moment, from the time I started, when it got announced, you were saying I want to be there, and of course, Milan. Everyone knew Milan's age, and in terms of would he try to push it, would he not? Like, but I was like saying like in my head like, I'm gonna be doing so well, or I want to be doing so well, where it's not even a question, even if he wants to. Like, I want it to be selected, not to be like handed to me. You know what I mean? Oh, this guy's done, it's handed to you, or you're the next guy. Like, I want it to be like, no, you earn it. So I think in that moment, but no, when I was at the World Cup, like the full focus was in that moment for our team. Like, we weren't thinking about 2026. We were thinking about doing well in 2022.
Yeah.
And then, when the World Cup ends, then you're saying, okay, we took these experiences, but in that moment from qualifying, everything, none of us thought about 2026.
Wow.
It was all about, we got to get to 2022. And we got to go there and then do well and get the first point or the first goal. And we achieved some of our goals and we fell short from some of them. Like, that's no secret. We all can sit there and say we didn't get to achieve everything we wanted to. Yeah. And now we know, but we still gained some of the experience where now we feel, I think, a lot more comfortable. A lot of our younger guys now that were super young at 2022 are now older. I mean, including myself, I'd say I've learned a lot in those 4 years and become more experienced. And I feel like I'm more prepared to play in those games where, if I was to play, I don't know how things would have gone, but like you wanted to play, of course, and you felt like you're ready. But like now looking back at it, when you make that progress, you start to look back, was I actually ready or was I not, you know?
And looking back, like, and I want to ask more about the lessons maybe you and the team have learned going into 2026. Would you say that it was just an experience thing that went wrong, let's say, in some of those games? Because again, you guys played very well. Was there direct lessons that you guys took? Or was it more like, oh, you know what, we just need more experience at this stage?
No, I think the margins, the higher you go to the top, the margins get smaller and smaller and smaller.
Yeah.
And we lost the World Cup in the boxes. We didn't take our chances, and the limited chances we gave up, we didn't do well enough with. And against Belgium, they were clinical in one of the few, very, very few, one if not two chances that they had the whole game.
Yeah.
Could you argue that we could have had a penalty call or whatever? Yeah, okay, looking back at it, yeah. But in that moment, like, we did a lot of things well in the middle part of the game, in the middle of the field. But in our sport, it's goals.
Yeah.
And that's the hardest thing to do in the game is to score. And, when we scored against Croatia, that was one of the greatest moments. But then I think we built it up to be so much where it was like, now looking back at it, like, could we have stayed level? Like, I don't think we thought we won in that moment. But after you score, you get the first goal, like, that's a huge moment for our country. Yeah. Whereas I think now we're like, okay, just because you score a goal doesn't mean the game's over. Just be like that maturity now in terms of a lot of players, like, we've built it. And I think for me too, like, I've matured, so it's a lot easier for me to say my experiences. But I also, at the same time, I wasn't the one that was on the field in 2022. So, like, what was going through those guys' heads or in those moments, I'm not the best person to answer that. And I thought, like, in those moments, I tried to support the team in the best way that I could. Yeah. And thought I did a good job. But now seeing my progress and my mentality in terms of things, maybe it's a little bit different than I would have had when I was, if I was on the field in those moments.
Yeah. And 2026, obviously, World Cup, host nation, Canada. That's crazy, just to say that. Are you going to be looking to start? Be the starting goalkeeper?
For sure. I think that's always been the goal. And of course, you want to what's best for the country and you want to support. But of course, all of us have our own individual motivators and to be there. I think obviously the first game for us is in Toronto,
Crazy.
the place I grew up. You know what I mean? Of course, I didn't grow up downtown, but like I grew up in this area. This is the closest stadium to me.
Yeah.
So like to be there in front of my friends and family and to remember going to BMO or remember watching on the news when they were throwing all the seats when Danny Dichio scored. You know what I mean? Like to see that. I remember going to the U20 World Cup when it was here.
Yeah.
And I didn't wear a Canada jersey to it. You know what I mean? Like because at that time it was just so different versus now being here on home soil and like what this can mean not only to me, not only to my friends and family, but the whole country.
Yeah.
And seeing what's going to come off of it. Like obviously I live in the US, so like everyone's talking about a lot of the basketball players that are there. And the Canadian basketball players are doing so well. A lot of that happened because one, Toronto Raptors started doing well. Vince Carter, Steve Nash, like you started to believe it. You know what I mean? These kids started to believe like we're in this area. Yeah, we can do that. Or when you see things in front of you, I think that's when your limits grow. And you think things are actually achievable because they feel a lot closer than they maybe are. And things are closer than they seem sometimes. And I think you look at, what Shea is doing now. A lot of these other Canadian guys, like they're dominating the league, but like they probably saw Vince Carter growing up and was like, I can be like that.
True.
They saw Steve Nash win an MVP. I can do that. So it's like those are the moments where it's like just because we're Canada doesn't mean we have to be stuck into this box. Like we're looking to shock people outside the world, but I think for us we have an expectation. Yeah, we're gonna make it out the group. And that's the bare minimum.
Let's talk about the group so far. What do you think about the group that you guys have? I mean, you're still waiting on potentially Italy, which I'm going to ask you about. But what do you think about the group so far?
I think it's not the easiest group, not the hardest group. Like it's a group where we feel confident. We're playing at home. We know how good our home record has been. So I think it's a group where we feel like we're confident that we can make it out. We're confident that the goal is obviously to come first in the group. There's obviously big surplus if we come first in the group. We could potentially play the next 2 games in Vancouver. So there's obviously a lot of motivation to come first in the group, without a doubt. But I think that's how I've seen it. But at the same time, I haven't gone and done a deep dive into what these teams are like. And it's obviously it's going to be a different World Cup now with more teams, like an extra day of rest in between the games. Like a lot of things that people don't see as the blind eye, like it's going to change. So I think it's something that we're preparing for, and I know we'll be ready when it comes.
There's a lot of talk online. You guys might get Italy. Hopefully they make it in. You know, hopefully they make. If they don't make it in, oh my God, I don't know what to say anymore. But what would you like playing Italy? Because I think that game would be in Toronto, right?
Yeah.
How big would that be for you guys? And do you guys think that you guys can win that game?
I think no matter who we play, we think we can win that game. It's the first game of the World Cup. It's in Toronto where a large majority of our team is from. We know what the first game of a tournament can mean and setting the tone for the tournament. Yeah. So, you want to be able to, you have to go into the first game saying you're going to get 3 points. Like, none of us are thinking we're going to play for a tie or if we only let them win by and we keep the score close. Like, no, our mindset is we're going to go and we're going to win. And that's going to be our mindset for every single game. And, of course, it might not necessarily play out like that. But our mindset going into every game under Jesse has always been we're going to play to win. We're not going to play to tie. We're going to play to win every game.
And what do you want to see from fans in Canada? Because there's a lot of talk, too, of, like, you play a team like Italy, for example. I'll go back to it because there's a lot of Italians here in Toronto. And, you know, maybe second, third generation Italians are going to support Italy. What do you say to that whole battle that's going on? Because there is one online right now where it's like, hey, if you're from Canada, you got to rep Canada, not Italy, not Portugal, not Jamaica, not whoever else you're from. What do you think about that?
First of all, we want as much support as we can. I'm also in the same situation where my dad is from Trinidad and my mom's side of the family is from Scotland. So, like, I understand not having a team at the World Cup or having to support what those are, and those roots are a part of me too. And I think the great thing about Canada is, especially Toronto, it's a mosaic.
Yeah.
Where you can be Canadian and you can be Italian, or you can be Trinidadian, you can be everything. It's not like you don't have to conform to one thing, like it is in some other places. But yeah, when Canada plays, this is the place you were born, or the place that you live now. Like, why wouldn't you want to support them and see them do well? Like, when we play against each other, of course, throughout them, support whatever teams. But like, wouldn't you want to see like your two teams in the final? You know what I mean? Like, that'd be a great moment, I think, for anybody. And I'm definitely not saying to don't support that, because I think one of the, like, I know the roots that I have, and like a lot of us have, even if you're second or third generation, like those roots go long in our country.
Yeah.
So it's something that should be celebrated as well, and not just pushed to the side. But yeah, this is, you should support the country that you're a part of too. And a lot of us have the passport, or grew up in this country, or our country gave us a lot of opportunity. Like, so
yeah,
I think it's a country that you should support as well.
Yeah. And being part of this team, it feels like it's like a new generation of talent. You know, when you look around on the pitch and you see all these talents playing across the world, what has it been to like be part of a culture like that? What has it felt like to see players like Alphonso Davies, Joe David, Buchanan? These guys are playing across the world at the highest level. What's the culture like, and how has that inspired you?
Yeah, I think it goes to when we were younger. You want to surround yourself with the biggest and the best players.
Yeah.
And you want guys to have opportunities. Like, the fact that those guys have gone and done well has opened up the doors for somebody else.
True.
Now, because if they go and they do poorly, Canada, done. We already have a notch on our belt where it's like, oh, you're Canadian. Some teams are unsure. So when those guys go there and they do well, maybe we'll take a look at that. Like, obviously, I'm really close with Tanny. Tanny goes to Villarreal. Dejan's doing well there. They do well together now. So that's now two Canadians that have opened up a pathway, you know what I mean, in order. And like, there's a lot of guys before us that, like, Tima made a great career in Europe.
Yeah.
And played there for a long time, and that opened the door when Kyle went to Besiktas, or when Sam went to Turkey, you know what I mean? Like, people don't realize how connected these things are, or these stigmas are, because people still view us as, unfortunately, the hockey players. And I think for us, a lot of us are immigrants, second generation, first generation, third generation, where soccer was our number one sport. You know what I mean? Like, I don't even know how to skate.
Neither do I, bro. Same,
you know what I mean?
Same,
like,
bro.
I played a little ball hockey with my friends growing up on the street, because like, you want to feel a part of it. But like, soccer was always my love and my passion, my first sport. Like, so that's how it was for me. And like, I think people forget that sometimes when they're talking about Canada, because it's easy to just generalize. But yeah, a lot of us, that is our first love, and that is the passion. And seeing those guys do well, like, it motivates you to kind of want to be there and to push our country forward, and to kind of create pathways for the people behind us as well.
Yeah. Who's on the aux cord in the change room though? Who's deciding the music when you guys are playing?
These days, it's normally either like Tanny, Isma, Jaden Nelson, Fonzie. Daniil was our big aux guy back in the day. So
Could imagine.
So now it's a few different guys have stepped up, and of course there's been some injuries with the squad and things like that. So there's been some different guys at camp. So as long as there's music playing, I think all of us kind of listen to similar music, but we're all so well-rounded as well in terms of, you got the French guys, you got some of the English guys where you're getting the Afro beats, you're getting the Caribbean music. So it's like, it's a pretty good mixed locker room and aux cord or music that we're listening to as well.
I feel like you guys are like a group of friends playing. Like, that's what it feels like when I watch, you know? And you mentioned Kamal too. What has that friendship done for you?
I mean, we all are a bunch of friends. I think especially like almost everyone on the team either grew up with somebody that is also on the team or like played against them. Like, I remember playing against Richie I played against Richie in college when we were both in college. Obviously I grew up with Kamal. We went through all the ranks from the district team to the regional team to like all the way up to the provincial and national team, playing for the same club at Vaughan. When he called me and was like, come on, switch over. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, so I think our friendship goes way beyond the game. Like that's my brother.
Yeah.
And I had the honor of being in his wedding last year. And it was a true honor. And I know one day he'll be in mine. But that friendship we've experienced some things that we probably would have never experienced because of this game.
Yeah.
And to be able to kind of do that with your best friend and your brother, I think makes those experiences way better as well.
Because I'm watching the games, the Canada games, and I'm like, yo, it's crazy because I know those guys, they've known each other for 10 years. Those two guys, they've played against. How much do you think that helps you guys?
For sure. Whenever you know someone's movements or their tendencies or the situation that they like to be in, or the expectation for them is clear. You know their level or what they enjoy, or we know Richie's gonna shield the ball and get into fights, but like that's gonna motivate the other guys to get in fights, or you know what I mean? Like that's gonna be the fuel sometimes, or to change the momentum of the game. Like everyone thinks like we're all just losing our head. Of course, there's moments where sometimes things get pushed to another level, but like we're very strategic in the way we do things as well. Like all the things that are going into the processes of, I know Richie does really well when he fights the outside back, because then it becomes a personal battle.
Yeah,
so like I want him to get in the fight the first 5 minutes of the game.
Yep.
Because then he's going to be like, this guy is not passing me for the rest of the game.
Yep.
Whereas if he never does it obviously, but if he's laughing and joking, like that's a different Richie than the Richie that's in your face. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So it's like, how can we motivate and know each other? And we know the level of when Richie's doing that. That doesn't mean that like he's out of control. We know that that's what's motivating him. So like the understanding that we have of each other as people helps us on the field, not only in terms of tendencies and what you want, but like, we know Ishmael's a great dribbler. Yeah. So can we, when he has the ball, is he going to take an extra touch? Maybe, yeah, but he's going to get by a guy and then slot the extra pass. So can Tanny hold his run a little bit, knowing he likes to hold an extra touch or take it? Like those are the small details and nuances that you understand when you've played with people for so long.
Yeah. It's funny because, like, if you see Richie mad, he's about to have a crazy game. He's about to go off.
I'd be hitting Richie before the game, like, to, like, get him going. Like, he's
for real, eh?
And then when he gives me the look, I'm like, all right, he's ready to go now.
Right? Honestly, it takes one guy to, like, tackle him wrong or kick him somewhere, and he just starts going crazy, right? But that's right. I think you're completely right on that. Is there any talent on the team that you're super excited about? Maybe someone younger?
I mean, our team is like, I feel like every day now there's a new player coming through. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Like, and there's probably some that I don't even know about yet. Like, obviously, it's a lot of people talk about development and pushing in the next guys. Like, I look at my youth national teams growing up. They used to be like, yeah, there's gonna be 2 or 3 guys that are gonna make it. And if you would have said those 2 or 3 guys were gonna be me and Kamal that were sitting on the bench, everyone would have laughed at us. You know what I mean? Like, so it's like, it's so hard, I think, for me to like single out 1 or 2 guys or whatever, because it's like everyone has different stages of development. Like everyone knows that kid that was amazing at U12, and by the time U16 came, it was like, this guy stopped playing soccer. You know what I mean? So it's like everyone has their different stages and has their different adversities and pushes them. So it's hard for me to kind of think of one person, but like obviously the young guys on the team have started to contribute and do well. Like I think of Nico and Nathan Saliba are the 2 that kind of come to mind. Like, how young are they considered? Like, depends what people consider young too. Some people say young's the 15 or 16-year-old, and others are saying it's the 22-year-old. You know what I mean? Like, so I think the success that they've had and the push, like, hasn't been difficult. It hasn't been easy for them, but you're seeing them kind of grow and get better. And I think it's something that Jesse's really priding himself on, is not just us doing well and getting the results, but us developing as players and people, and pushing us and continuing to learn under him. I think has been something that we've all benefited from. And of course, whenever the team does well, individuals do well. And I think he's really looked at the microscopic of how can we make every player better, and that will help us as a team as well.
So maybe for our audience, what would you say they can expect from Canada this World Cup?
The 2 things that come to mind, that pace and power. I think that's our identity. We're going to be in your face. We're going to be dynamic. We're going to be electric. We're going to kind of push for things. And we're going to attack the game. We're definitely not a team that sits back. We're a team that tries to play a fast tempo and play things on our term. and we're gonna fight and compete. The one thing that we all are competitors. I've never been around such a big guys of we're all gonna compete and fight to the everyday, and we don't take wearing the maple leaf on our chest lightly at all. And we know that we're representing something way bigger than us, and we talk about making Canada proud. It's something that we know that we have to do, and what it means to be a Canadian.
Yeah. I was gonna ask, like, what do you think the team's strengths are? Speed and strength, you would say?
Yeah, pace and power for
Pace
sure.
and power, yeah. It makes sense. I mean, I watch it. You guys play fast, right? Okay. I wanna talk a little bit about your shot stopping, specifically in penalty kicks. Right? You're having a blast, dude. You're having a blast. You're laughing at them. You're talking to the ref. You're yelling at the fans. Obviously, there was a game, the Seattle game, I believe. There's a lot of games, right? Why do you? Because even stats wise, you do very well in PKs. Why do you think that is? What are you doing mentally to yourself, number one, but also psychologically when you're playing games with whoever's about to kick it?
Yeah, my club record is very good, and I'm definitely working on my national team level, and
Yeah.
know that moment will come where I can do it because I've done it on a consistent basis for my club. But for me, I look at it as a mental game, and that's where I get to have the most fun because there's no pressure on you as the goalie.
Yeah.
Realistically, players should be scoring a lot more than they're missing. But so I look at it as, what can I do to take you off? Because if you tell a guy to put the ball down and shoot it, especially in training, these guys are putting the ball wherever they want. But now when the pressure is there, or I say something to throw them off of something that they weren't maybe thinking of, or creating a longer decision to take their routine away,
Yeah.
that's when the indecision or the doubt maybe starts to creep in. Maybe and all I need is a split second, because that little bit of doubt, we've all had it. It can eat you alive for however long, and you got to go shoot and make a split-second decision in terms of where you're gonna do it. But so it might be the millimeter that you missed the ball by, and that's what makes it hit off the post. I always try to think, like, how can I throw them off the most so I don't even have to make a save?
True.
Can I make them miss the target and put the ball in
Which
row Z? You know what I mean?
You've done that in a lot of shootouts, though.
My job is to make sure that the ball doesn't cross the line.
Yeah.
And people forget about it because they're like, well, you didn't save the ball. But I guarantee you, if you ask them, I affected them in some kind of way that maybe helped make them miss. I'm not going to say I made them miss 100%. Like, yeah, some guys kick the ground a little bit more than they didn't put the ball perfectly. But, like, my job in a penalty shootout is to make sure the ball doesn't cross the line.
Was there ever a moment where, like, it really worked and you're like, what I just did directly made this guy miss for sure? And before you do that, I want to tell you the stat, actually. So you've saved 44% of penalties you've faced, okay? That's insane. Because a player's success rate on PKs is around 80% usually. So, you know, you're beating the numbers.
Yeah.
So I don't know what you're saying to them, bro. What? First of all, was there a moment where you thought, oh my God, like that really just worked? What I did to that guy really just made him miss?
I mean, there's probably been a couple where, like, I point to a certain way, but, like, the way the MLS playoffs have worked is, like, you know, you can play the same team twice. So then you're seeing a tendency of, like, it's a double bluff game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, like, I've done some things where, like, okay, I know I did this last game. Can I do something, like, similar where he thinks am I going to switch or am I going to do it? Like, you know what I mean? Like, It becomes a double bluff. So the one that thinks about me is there was two seasons ago when we played Salt Lake, when I pointed to one of the directions because he had shot there the game before. And then there was one where the guy was shooting and I was just yelling his name.
Wow.
Like, as he's running up, I'm just yelling his name, and he ends up putting the ball over the bar. But I also think, like, the fact, like, the players know, maybe not to the extent of the stats, but they know I've had a pretty good success rate. So I think that then plays on in terms of, like, we know he's pretty good. Like, we got to put this ball perfectly or whatever.
True.
So I think those are the two.
Or they try to put in the corner.
Exactly.
Or
you know what I mean?
Try to put it far away from you.
Exactly. And then that maybe is the reason why they miss wide or they hit the post or whatever, like, because they feel like they have to be perfect. And, like, I'm not a small guy. So, like, when you see me in the net and you're that much closer, I cover a lot of the net.
Yeah.
So, like, if I do go the right way,
then you
I
got
feel
your
like
arms.
there's a good chance. You know what I mean? Like, yeah.
So in terms of saving them and you know, shot stopping penalties, How much of it do you think, as a goalkeeper, is skill versus mental?
It's both, I think.
Evenly, you think?
I would say it's probably a little bit more mental because, like, essentially you're just diving to a side. Sure. So, like, we're doing that every single day in training. Mm-hmm. Like, where there's a skill, but, like, can you keep your foot on the line and time it well? Like, that's a skill. Mm-hmm. Can you read where the guy's going to go to, like, hold your body well enough where you can switch which side you're going to go? Like, obviously some guys just guess.
Yeah.
Whatever. Okay, if I'm going to say, okay, I'm going to dive right for sure, like, is there going to, like, it's easy to dive. That's an easy skill, but, like, everyone approaches it very differently.
True.
And can you blend some of those techniques in order to it? But, like, at the same time, yeah, the success rate for a goal for shooters is high. So can you have the mentality, even when one goes in, I'm going to save the next one.
Yeah.
Or when you're faced with the game's over if I don't save this, and all the pressure, your season's over, your whole team, your whole club, everything's done in this moment if you don't save this. Can you rise to that occasion and still trust in your own beliefs to be ready for that moment?
Yeah. And how much are you looking into, like, you know, let's say you're playing a certain team. Are you really looking into where these guys usually shoot on penalties, or are you letting that be a big factor for you?
I think when you get into the playoffs and you know that penalties a lot more prevalent, like, that could be the decider versus, like, how often are guys getting penalties in games. I think
True.
you pay attention a little bit, but, like,
True.
It's also if a team's up 4-0 and he has a penalty, is he going to go the same way he always goes? Maybe. Mm-hmm. But, like, if it's 0-0 in the 90th minute and he knows he has to score, like, what does he feel comfortable with? So I think it's also True. Like, there's so many different, like, realms and factors, and you try to look at what's important or what's not, and then can you factor it? So I think I take in a little bit of everything, but I don't go say, this guy shoots right 80 to 80%, like, I'm going to go right every single time. Like, I try to factor everything and compile as much data as I can.
Yeah.
And then, or maybe do I say something and I see the way he reacts and, like, okay, and then maybe he's going to switch it. Like, I'm trying to assess all these things in real time. Mm-hmm. Or sometimes there's a guy that, you know, like, you almost don't say anything to him because, you know, he's expecting you to say something or he's prepared to say something. Like, there's a lot of success I had, but, like, I have a viral clip from when I was versus Shaqiri, and I told him he wasn't going to go down the middle, and it blew up. But, like, I wasn't successful in that moment. How would it have looked if I was successful? Who knows? But, like,
for sure.
So, like, it's easy to talk about the success, but, like,
of course,
the negatives happen too, and, like,
yeah,
I'm okay with it because I know I'm at such a disadvantage, and you gotta take it on the chin sometimes. But, like, especially in a penalty shootout, if you can affect one or two, that could be the difference of you guys moving on and winning the game versus not. So, like, I could look dumb for 4 of them or 5 of them or 10 of them.
Yeah.
But if my team gets over the line, that's what I care about the most.
Yeah. I'm going to ask you to manifest something on that episode because we ask our guests to manifest something. This is pretty much something you want to come to light in the next 5 years, the next 3 years, the next 10 years. Something that we can expect from you in the future. Be as detailed as you want. Because when it comes true, we're going to clip it, bring it back, of course.
Can I go the next 6 months and talk about the World Cup?
You could definitely manifest something for the World Cup. I would love that. You could look directly in the camera and let them know.
I think I'd like to manifest just inspiring a whole new generation of players and making the country proud.
Damn. Well, I think you're already doing that. To be fair, I think you're already doing that. So let me ask you this then, on top of that. What's something you really want to accomplish in your career? Let's say besides the World Cup. Mm-hmm. Let's say, you know, the next 10 years of Dayne's career. What's something you really want to come to life? Yeah, it could be anything.
I want to win a trophy. I think. Obviously, I know how hard it is to win something, and only one team wins every competition. Yeah. But I think the work that we do on a daily basis is all to be able to lift the trophy. When I went to the University of Maryland, we used to talk about last team standing, last team smiling.
I like that.
And I felt that at the collegiate level. I felt that with Vaughn. Like, everywhere I've been, I've experienced that, except for the professional level now. And that's something that I want to chase and I want to continue, and I want to win everything. You know what I mean? Like, every competition that you play in, you want to win. So, like, to be able to say, yeah, like, I played in every level of U.S. soccer.
Yeah.
college, USL League 2, USL League 1, USL Championship, MLS. So now to go to say let's just say MLS because that's where I'm at. Yeah, I won CONCACAF Champions League or Champions Cup now it's called. Yeah, I won the US Open Cup. Yeah, I won the Leagues Cup. Yeah, I won MLS Cup. Like to be able to kind of look back at it and say you're lifting a trophy, like those are the moments I think that that's what drives me.
Yeah.
I'm a competitor. I want to win.
Yeah. It's crazy. You have played every level in the system. Insane. We're going to do some rapid fire now.
Okay.
And then we're going to finish off with our famous question, of course. What's one thing people misunderstand about goalkeepers?
The position as a whole. I think it's divided in terms of success or if the ball goes in or not. Not many people play it, so not many people understand it. I know it's supposed to be a rapid fire question.
No, it's all good.
But
It's all
this
good.
is just it's so hard for me because it's a goalie that maybe makes a top corner save. There's so many different ways to keep the ball at the net. True. Can you kick your feet up and make it look great for the camera? Yeah. Or can you take 2 steps aside and catch the ball? And everyone's like, well, that was an easy save. And it's it's actually not an easy save, but because of his skill set, it made it look easy versus the guy that the ball was straight at him and he kicks his feet up and it makes it look amazing to the blind eye. Everyone's like, whoa.
Yeah.
But then you're like, well, he could have made that a little bit easier. So I think
that's true.
The
actually,
way that people make saves
Yeah.
or the way that people keep the ball at the net is, I think, what's most misunderstood in terms of what's good goalkeeping.
I always say that. I'll see. He made that look. That was an easy save, but like you said, his skill set. The 10 years before that he was making that save, he did it. What's one thing you still feel you need to prove?
That I'm good with my feet.
You think you could be better, or you think not enough people know you're good with your feet?
I think not enough people realize because I haven't played in systems where it's very possession based since I left Vaughan.
True.
But I'm very comfortable with my feet, but I think I've played in systems that's been very direct, so it doesn't show that side of my game. So
I think you'll get that
with
chance.
The new team, with the new team, I think that was part of it as well to be able to kind of break that stigma around me.
Yeah. Who's one person you want to make proud?
Myself.
One moment you regret?
Probably the way I handled things when I first got dropped and feeling sorry for myself. I think it ended up helping me, and I had to go through that process, and I didn't maybe have the skill set to go through that. But I think maybe I don't regret it. I regret it in that moment, but as a whole, I don't regret it because it's helped me as a learning lesson.
For sure. What's one loss you still think about the most?
Seattle, 2020, when we lost in West Conference Final.
What's one mistake that taught you the most?
I think that mistake of being dropped.
Yeah.
And what those 12 months went of having to grind it out and wait for an opportunity again.
What's one save you wish you could replay?
It's a whole game, but when I played the Leagues Cup and I made 15 or
Record
whatever
breaking
saves,
I think it was 16 actually.
That day was just a out of body experience. We got a red card in the first 15 minutes of the game, and it was it was a ball where I was maybe I could have come out for my defender tries to make a play. I was a young kid, and I was I felt in that moment could I have come out and cleared it maybe, but I feel I let him down, and then we had to win that game.
You felt responsible.
So I was I was the captain for that game, and that was the best game of my life.
It was. What's one rule you'd change in football?
The penalty kicks. Let's move that back a little bit. I feel the shooter's at such an advantage from that close. Is a foul if a guy's about to dribble into the corner on the edge of the 18 versus a goal scoring. I understand if it's in the 6-yard box or something like that, but that's.
So where would you put it?
Let's put the game where a lot of people play around the D where you have to take 2 touches.
Yeah.
Just make it like that where you gotta take 2 touches or something like that. That'd be incredible. I feel
Who's the best penalty taker you ever faced?
Iceman, Jonathan David.
Damn. Who's one player you still want to play against?
don't know if I have one.
No?
There's no one that really kind of
Okay.
sticks out. I'll play against anyone that's in front of me.
Fair. Who's a young keeper that you think will be up next?
I'll go to Minnesota for this one. Kane Rizvanovic.
Okay. You're Minnesota boy.
Minnesota boy. He's playing for the US U19s or U20s now, and came into Minnesota this past season and has done well, and I think has soaked up a lot from me, but also finding a way to do it in his own way, which I'm proud of.
What's one piece of advice you'd give a youth player right now?
Fight through things. Fight through the adversity. Not everything's going to go your way, but it's about how you react. Of course, the game's so long and there's so many different moments, and you can't control everything, but you can control how you react.
And what's a piece of advice you would give your 18-year-old self?
Live your own pathway. I think at times I got caught up because this guy was signing pro or doing whatever, but like your pathway is your pathway, and there's multiple pathways to make it. There's not just one way to make it to there in the end.
Dayne, does money buy happiness?
I think opportunity buys happiness.
Opportunity buys happiness. So your opportunities that you've been given have made you happy,
For sure.
is what you're saying.
For sure. And I think sometimes those opportunities do become because of money, but like when you have that opportunity, you get to make it for what it is. And then you have a choice in it. And I think it's a little bit more personal than just the necessary money necessarily attached to things.